You've been someone who gave everything, even when you didn't receive the same in return. You carry a rare way of wishing well, even after being hurt. That doesn't mean naivety. It's simply your natural hope that life can be lighter, and that people, deep down, hold goodness within them. The new moon in Virgo activates this selective, discerning side of you, the one that knows not everything is meant to be kept. It's when you begin to place each emotion in its rightful place. And even the most confusing feelings now start to find a name. Over time, you've learned to observe more before giving yourself away. But you also know that when you love, you go all in. This lunar cycle speaks directly to that duality, the desire to care and the need to protect yourself. There's something within you that others can feel, a contained, discreet, but powerful strength. Maybe you're still trying to understand the remnants of a story that shook your core. And the truth is, not everything needs a logical explanation in order to be left behind. Virgo doesn't demand perfection, only awareness. And that's one of your greatest virtues. You strive to improve, even when no one is watching. The current phase invites you to begin a new chapter without haste but with precision. Your heart, though marked, is ready to reorganize. You've already understood that you're no longer the same person, and that realization is liberating. Now, a new beginning isn't just possible, it's necessary. So often you felt like you gave more than you received. Now, the question changes. What will you offer yourself? The new moon speaks of beginnings, but Virgo teaches that these beginnings must be intentional. You have the rare ability to see detail where others see only confusion. So trust this. This moment is not an ending, but a new emotional architecture being built, stronger, clearer, more truly yours. There are moments when you feel torn between what you still feel and what you've already understood. It's normal. Sensitive souls often struggle to turn the page when there are unanswered questions left behind. At the same time, deep down, you also know it's not worth insisting when all that's left is disharmony. Today's sky offers you the chance to reclaim your own story with greater discernment. Virgo's energy brings a clarity that can feel unsettling, but it also heals. You are closer to yourself than you realize. You may appear rational, but your heart still remembers details you'd rather forget. This new moon comes to give you the gift of filtering. What deserves to stay, what has already fulfilled its role, and what was never truly yours. It's not about being cold. It's about choosing with maturity what truly nourishes your soul. You may still feel something for someone, and that's okay. But feeling doesn't mean going back. Virgo teaches that love without structure dissolves over time, and you're more aware of that now. It's admirable how you try to find something good even in the most turbulent situations. That's not weakness, it's quiet resilience. And even if no one ever thanked you for all you gave, the universe notices those who build with integrity. Today, the cycle opening before you is one of reconstruction, not of a relationship, but of you with yourself. A time when you listen to yourself more deeply, organize your desires, and create space for bonds more aligned with who you are becoming. Many still don't realize how much you've matured, but you don't need to prove anything. This new phase doesn't ask for explanations, only choices. You can, and must, prioritize yourself without guilt. There is something beautiful in you, something that can't be taught. The ability to begin again without hardening your heart. The new moon in Virgo doesn't erase what has been lived, but it points toward a cleaner, more aligned direction. And maybe, this time, the love that is reborn will be your own. There is something in you that, even in silence, longs for lighter new beginnings. You know how to be strong, but you also feel when the emotional baggage starts to weigh too heavily. This new moon in Virgo opens a rare space in time, a clear invitation to empty out what no longer fits into your story. It may not be easy to let go, and you may wonder if you're doing the right thing. It's natural to hesitate when what has been lived still echoes. But deep down, you've already begun to free yourself. People like you carry deep marks, and yet you move forward with admirable dignity. Not everyone notices the effort behind a calm smile. Today, the sky says, it's time to purify yourself from within, to reorganize your feelings, to clean out the drawers of your soul. You can continue being generous without being a container for other people's frustrations. There is a difference between understanding and self-abandonment, and you are learning to recognize it with growing wisdom. You are not alone in this process. There is a universal tendency to hold on to stories that have lost their meaning out of fear of the emptiness that comes after. But what you may not have realized yet is how fertile that free space can become. Virgo teaches that true organization begins when we learn to say enough to what confuses us. And you, with your sensitive gaze and analytical mind, are in exactly the right phase to filter what's worth keeping. Some people spend years waiting for a sign to start over. You, on the other hand, have already begun this movement inside, even if quietly. Your ability to adapt and refine your own patterns is rare. It's not about rushing, but about precision, knowing where to invest your energy, your time, and your affection. With the new moon in Virgo, this gift of discernment expands. And perhaps, by emptying out what remains, you'll discover a new space for what truly deserves to stay. You have a sharp sense of what needs to stay and what has already run its course, even when you don't yet feel completely ready to cut ties. It's impressive how you can keep your mind steady even when your heart wavers. Part of you longs to move forward while another resists, and that's perfectly human. Still, your quiet instinct is already pointing toward renewal. Today, this awareness intensifies with the new moon in Virgo, which favors clarity in the subtle spaces between feelings. Small details take on meaning, and that changes everything. Some people settle for the illusion of stability. You, however, would rather rebuild something authentic, even if it requires effort and deep revision. Not everyone faces emotional cleansing with such honesty. What you've lived through left marks, yes, but it also left wisdom, and that's a rare currency. Now it's time to restructure your emotions, not to erase the past, but to honor it with a new order. After all, what you allow to remain shapes who you become. Have you noticed how certain inner decisions don't need witnesses to completely change your reality? That's exactly the kind of choice Virgo energy supports at this moment. Instead of dramatic revolutions, Virgo works behind the scenes, a deleted file, a memory reorganized, a promise undone. What once hurt now only teaches. Your refined mind knows that quiet progress is often the most powerful, and the universe notices every step you take, even the ones no one else sees. Soon, you'll be surprised by the lightness that arrives, not because everything changed, but because you repositioned yourself. Your discreet courage is opening space for a clearer phase, where only what adds value can enter. By allowing yourself this intimate fresh start, you align with greater forces that recognize your intention to grow with purpose. Keep going at this pace. One clean step, one healed emotion, one conscious choice. The new moon in Virgo doesn't demand speed, but invites precision. And you are arriving at exactly the right time. There are moments when you seem incredibly demanding with yourself, and yet, you know how to forgive where many would be far too harsh. This duality reveals the depth of your self-awareness, a skill that few truly master. Today, with the new moon in Virgo activating your inner vision, comes a rare chance to observe the patterns that return as if asking to be resolved. Perhaps you've already felt it, a sense of repetition, as though you're facing the same story dressed in new clothes. It's not a mistake, but a lesson still unfolding. And this time, you have more tools. It's remarkable how much you've evolved lately, even if you still silently doubt it. While others run from uncomfortable truths, you lean into them with the courage of someone who prefers rebuilding over disguising. Virgo energy favors this kind of honest revision, one that starts inside and reflects in the choices you make outside. There is something specific asking for your attention, and although you may already know what it is, today's clarity can turn understanding into action. Facing it doesn't hurt more than staying stuck in the cycle, and you know this better than anyone. Those who see you from the outside may not realize how much you hold yourself accountable on the inside. And yet, there is a gentle strength in you that still believes in growth, even when the world seems stagnant. Virgo is the sign of practical healing, and this moon gives you the chance to turn pain into useful wisdom. By recognizing where you repeat yourself, you also access the power to choose differently. And perhaps, for the first time, that can happen without guilt. Your emotional maturity doesn't need an audience, because your process is for you, not to prove anything to anyone. You may be moving through this moment with some doubt or emotional weight, and that's okay. But there is a part of you that knows this discomfort carries hidden gold. It's not about getting rid of pain quickly, but about learning from it, reorganizing what needs to be, and walking more lightly. And believe me, people like you, who think deeply and feel honestly, are always one step closer to building something real. Today, more than ever, the universe offers you this chance, the chance to look inward and to find an exit that begins in your very own gaze. Maybe you've wondered why certain situations always seem to hit the same wall. Sometimes it feels like you move forward, but then return to old patterns, as if something still needs to be understood. The good news is, this isn't regression. It's a sign that you're finally ready to see with depth what once went unnoticed. The new moon in Virgo doesn't demand speed, but precision. It offers a soft and steady light to illuminate silent wounds and make space for lucid rebirths. You know better than most how to balance sensitivity with reason, even when it costs you more energy than others realize. That quiet strength you carry inside is one of your greatest virtues, and it's precisely what allows you to recognize where you can and deserve to choose differently. No one grows without walking through their own shadows, but you have the rare ability to turn pain into clarity and disorder into useful wisdom. This lunar cycle invites you to embrace that emotional intelligence and, more importantly, to put it into practice. There are moments when you feel you should be further ahead, as though you've wasted too much time on stories that no longer make sense. But it's important to remember, every pause has its purpose, and sometimes the real leap comes after silence. Virgo teaches that true evolution is built detail by detail, with honesty and commitment to who you are becoming. Instead of blaming yourself for not doing it earlier, recognize that now you have the maturity you once lacked. And that changes everything. What you release today does not define weakness, it defines wisdom. Because recognizing patterns and choosing to step out of them takes more courage than staying stuck in what hurts. The new moon opens the door to a new chapter, and it's up to you to decide whether you walk in carrying the weight of the past or the lightness of someone who has learned. You're not starting over from zero. You're starting again from a place that is more conscious, stronger, and far more aligned with who you truly are. And that, in itself, is a quiet revolution, one that changes everything in you and around you. You have a special gift for sensing when something no longer contributes to your balance, even if it takes time for you to act on it. On the outside, it may seem like you tolerate more than you should, but inside, there's a radar that never fails. The new moon in Virgo activates that turning point within you. That silent moment when deciding to begin again is, in itself, an act of healing. Not everything may be in place yet, and that's to be expected. What matters is that now you choose to rebuild not from absence, but from the presence of yourself. Often, you've offered structure to those who only knew how to live in chaos. And in the process, you've lost yourself trying to hold everything together. But there's a side of you that loves order, that breathes easier when everything has meaning, function, and purpose. This part of you, which may have been neglected for a while, now rises to the surface with firmness. You are in a rare moment of practical clarity, where your emotions begin to arrange themselves like a shelf, space for what matters, and the gentle release of what no longer does. Few people have this refined ability to discern with the heart, and you are one of them. Of course, it hasn't always been easy. There were moments when you wondered if you had the energy to start over, if there was still room within you to build a new chapter. The answer now is clear. Yes, there is. And even better, it comes with wisdom. What you once accepted without question no longer goes unnoticed. Virgo doesn't demand perfection, it demands intention. And you are at a point where you can embody this better than ever, organizing not only your finances, your home, or your routine, but also your emotions and your boundaries. The love that once disorganized you has also taught you. And the new moon arrives with a proposal to rebuild not only what has fallen, but the way you rebuild yourself moving forward. With more discernment, more presence, and fewer concessions that cost too much. This is the ideal moment to redirect your energy towards something solid, functional, and true. You've given so much of yourself. Now it's time to give back to yourself. Not as before, but better. More whole, clearer, more committed to what you want to live, and no longer to what you merely try to endure. There are those who don't understand your desire for order and clarity, and perhaps you yourself have tried to silence that need in order to adapt. But deep down, you always knew that living in the midst of emotional chaos was not sustainable. The new moon in Virgo reminds you of something precious. You function best when there is direction, when emotions are expressed with logic, without unnecessary drama. This need is not coldness, it is refined emotional intelligence. You have a natural sense that for anything to flourish, the soil must first be clean. Even if at times you accept confusing situations in the name of feeling, there exists within you an inner demand that never disappears. It's that gaze that sees what no one else does, that urge to correct what is misaligned, even when everything seems fine. Now, that trait gains a voice. This is the perfect phase to remake internal pacts, to organize expectations, and no longer tolerate relationships that only drain without providing structure in return. Your ability to adjust your course silently is rare and admirable. You are about to experience something new, emotional stability born from your own awareness. Not because everything around you is perfect, but because you've learned how to sustain yourself better from within. This is the true order Virgo proposes, a clean, functional emotional routine, with space only for what contributes. It may take time to rebuild everything, but this time there will be no waste. Every gesture will be measured with care and intention. You know, and have always known, that you deserve to live with greater balance. Many feel, but few organize. Many love, but few structure. You belong to the group that transforms chaos into growth and pain into clarity. This new moon is your ally on the journey of refining not only what you give, but also what you choose to receive. Refuse what delays you, choose with elegance, and above all, remember, not everyone has your level of awareness, and that's okay. Your reconstruction doesn't need an audience. All it requires is that you guide it with presence and purpose, exactly the way only you know how. You have a unique ability to notice nuances that most people overlook. Even when everything seems fine, it's as if your gaze catches small signs, almost invisible gestures, that reveal what is misaligned. This talent, often subtle, now proves to be essential. The new moon in Virgo activates precisely this gift, the ability to reorganize life starting with the simplest details. Perhaps you've already felt, even discreetly, the urge to change something small, and that small action could turn out to be transformative. After intense periods, many people look for big changes, drastic upheavals. But you, with your natural wisdom, know that true power lies in refinement. Shifting a habit, adjusting the pace of your mornings, changing the way you speak to yourself, all of this can be more impactful than any emotional revolution. Not everyone has this refined sense of structure. This new moon invites you to use that perception to your advantage, with lightness and method, in the way only you know how. Have you noticed how what once seemed chaotic begins to align when you shift small gestures? That's not coincidence. It's trained sensitivity. It's clarity earned. What many call a detail, you see as a starting point. Your emotional intelligence goes beyond what shows on the surface. You recognize patterns even before they repeat. And that is a rare gift. In confusing times, few know how to be guided by simplicity. You are among those rare few. It's possible that, without even realizing it, you are cleansing your emotions through minimal actions, a daily ritual, a food choice, a boundary finally set. This silent purification is precious. It doesn't shout, but it transforms. Now, with Virgo's energy at its peak, the universe hands you a window of renewal. And once again, you prove that starting over is not about brute effort, but about delicacy applied with intention. There is beauty in order, and you know exactly where to find it. You're the kind of person who feels when something needs to change, even if you can't immediately explain what it is. Within you lives a quiet perception that awakens in cycles like this. The new moon in Virgo activates your ability to heal from the edges, not through rehearsed speeches, but through discreet practices. It might be a new wake-up time, a shower taken with more intention, or even the decision not to reply to messages that steal your peace. There is power in the small rituals you create for yourself. To an outsider, it may seem like nothing has changed, but you know that every inner choice redraws entire landscapes. Maybe you've left behind someone who confused love with control. Or maybe you're simply beginning to look at yourself with more kindness. Either way, simplicity is becoming sacred. And that reveals a rare emotional maturity, not needing chaos in order to evolve. You are rebuilding yourself in silence. And that is an act of strength and beauty. There are moments when everything you need already exists in what you have. Virgo teaches that perfection is not in excess, but in functionality. And you, perhaps without realizing it, have been seeking just that, clarity about what remains and what no longer fits. Your courage doesn't live in grand breakups, but in the steady decision to refine, adjust, and choose more consciously. This is a journey few truly value, yet it deeply transforms those who walk it with honesty. Allow yourself to celebrate what seems small. Choosing to retreat earlier, reshaping your routine, returning to the notebook you decided to fill again. All of this signals that you are coming back to yourself. And this time, with a new lightness. The new moon in Virgo whispers that starting over doesn't need an audience, nor grand gestures, only consistency and intention. And you have both. Now the cycle can move forward, because when you walk with awareness, every step becomes alchemy.